Well, when I went before the fall of Cambodia, I got a chance to leave the country before the fall. My dad asked me to leave first, but I hesitated to leave and I decided to stay. So I gone through the Khmer Rouge. I worked hard for 4 years. And when I returned to Cambodia, I was almost get killed because the way I talked to the communist government that, well, they said something and I said something, and they was angry that they accused that I'm accusing them of punishing Christian. And I said, and the foreign minister took me out and said, did you know that nobody ever talked to those guys the way you just did? And I said, did you know that I know a God that protect me from death over and over, let me escape, bring me out of Cambodia, and now bring me back to Cambodia? The same God would not abandon me. If I die for Jesus. That's how it confirmed my calling, and because of my suffering, I know that God allowed me to go through that. So I know the pain of the Cambodian people, how I can work with them through my pain, because I understand their pain. I know that everyone have different kind of pain. For me, I remember when the Vietnamese took over Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge left, but still a few Khmer Rouge that become a civilian. I remember in my mind, if I see any one of them that I know, I will kill them. And a lot of Khmer Rouge leaders were killed by the mob during that time. So when one day I walked in the city of Battambang, I saw this guy used to be the youth leader in my work camp. I knew that some of my siblings died. He's responsible. At first, I really wanted to approach him and do something about it. But then it seemed that God reminded me again. It's like, the Holy Spirit said, remember when I was on the cross, I said, Father, forgive them, for they know not they doing. And at that moment, I stop and I think, even people crucify Christ, and he still pray for them, for God to forgive them. So God can do that. Why can't I do that? If I call myself a Christian, I should be the same, because Jesus said, everything I have done is for you to follow. So I come to him. He was shaken, and I said, I call him out his name. I said, Ka, I'm not going to report you to the authority or doing anything to you. I forgive you because I know Jesus, and Jesus died for your sin. And then he was thanking me, and he left. Another leader, the one that killed the person in the youth camp, in the refugee camp, I saw him. He just had a brand new baby. At that time, that his wife doesn't have any milk, and his daughter doesn't have any milk. She doesn't have money to buy milk to feed her. So OMF, Overseas Missionary Fellowship missionary, a good friend of mine, Don Cormack. Don is the author of the book called The Killing Field, Living Field. Don came into the camp. He gave me the whole Bible. That's my first Bible. Inside has a 400 baht, Thai money. I came home and I talked with my wife and I said, should we split this money and give some to Lieb? Lieb was the leader, the ruthless leader. My wife said, okay, let's do that, because they just have a new baby, no milk. I gave it to him and he was crying. And I told him, I said, because I know Jesus, that Jesus wanted me to help you. So you should know Jesus, and begin to share Christ with him. But at that time, he didn't want to accept Christ, but he wanted to sit down and listen. So that's how I forgive people. We need to follow Christ's example. what Christ did. Even on the cross, painfully suffering with a nail in the palm of his hand and his leg, he still uttered, "Father, forgive them, for they know not they doing." So we should do the same to our neighbor, our enemy, even to our enemy.